Hey, welcome to Splashhh Makers. My name is Sam Herrera with a very special guest today. This man was an absolute legend, still is to this day. Radio personality, one of the most famous, funny people that I know, Mr. Elvis from the Doghouse. Thank you, my friend, for coming out, man.
Good to see you, man. First of all, legend, that means I'm old. that's
no, that just means you've done a lot of stuff.
Oh, dude. I see. Yeah, you know, back in the day, we did have a good time doing the Doghouse. It was a different time. It's when radio was considered king. It's when radio was valued talent, you know, and it's unfortunately it's an industry that has died. But we were in it in the Bay Area here from 1995 to 2007, and we kind of just were given a long leash. We were because we would rather ask for forgiveness later than to ask for, hey, can we do this? No, we just did it. Yeah. And we got in trouble a lot. If you are from the Bay Area and everybody that's watching this, you know that we were crazy. You know, it was just a crazy time to where how can we push that envelope? How can we do things where people go, oh my God, did you hear what they said this morning? That was kind of our thing. The thing about the Doghouse was it was me, JV, and our producer Hollywood, and then a cast of other people. They wouldn't tell me about 90% of the time what we're going to do that day because they wanted my natural reaction to just losing my shit. You know what I'm saying? Just like, don't tell him because his natural reaction is gold, you know? So we did the prank calls, we did stunts. I have battle wounds from stunts we did. We did something in, I think around 98, where it was called the world's largest radio stunt. Mm-hmm. We sectioned off an area in San Francisco, south of Market, when south of Market was sketchy, still is, but it was bad back then. And we had Channel 2 came out, KTVU, and they were live streaming it on Channel 2 in the morning, the world's largest radio stunt. So let me set this up. We've got a whole street lined off. We have our street guy, Big Joe, comes around in a Starsky and Hutch car. Google it. It was like a red and white Torino. Comes around. It just stops. Our DJ is dressed up as an old lady. He's got a stroller. Hits that. Beer cans fly out. Joe then picks up a fake bomb, lights it, throws it behind this fake facade, explosion, and my partner JV comes out on fire. Okay. A Hollywood stunt team lit him on fire. They pick up a gun that's on the ground, and I am 3 stories, maybe 4 stories up, and they shoot me, and I jump. I jump into one of those bags that, you know, they do for stunts, right? Yeah. And it was crazy. The night before, I'm with this Hollywood stunt guy, and he says, well, when do you got to do this? I go, tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. He goes, this takes like 5 years how to learn how to do. I go, well, it's tomorrow, because I know it would be worse not doing it. So, but up there 4 stories, you're just looking at it. And there's video of this everywhere. And I hit the deck, and I remember being told the day before, when you hit the bag, let out all your air or your lungs are going to explode. So I hit it and I let it out, but I twisted my elbow. The funny thing is about this, on Channel 2, like I said, they were doing it live. The person doing the live stream, Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's like 1998. He was doing radio here at the time, but he was doing it live. He jumps in the bag with me. It was a different time. It was a different time of radio. I had to have back surgery once because we did a stunt at Golden Gate Fields, a big former racetrack here. I'm on a horse. I've never been on a horse. I grew up in San Diego. I don't like horses. My partner JV was on a llama, and Hollywood was on an ostrich, and we all took bets on who was going to finish first. That horse took off. That son of a bitch took off. I went one curve. I'm fighting it the whole way. Went the second one, and I went bam, and I ruptured my L5, my disc on my back. Ooh. Yeah, it was bad. So rub some dirt on it.
So talk about that, man. Like you touched on it. It's a completely different time. You guys were just, some of the things that you guys done, not just between me, but between people I talk to, it's seared in their head. Like the things that you guys have done, they're just burned in they're part of their memory.
Right.
They just remember that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Talk about how things have changed a little bit.
Well, things have changed just because everybody got really politically correct, and I get that. And we pushed the envelope. We said words like God damn on the air, and we'd say asshole on the air. You can't do that because you can't, especially not on radio, but you can now with digital content and social media and things like that. It's okay. Things have just changed in the fact that you can't be edgy with sexual things. You can't be edgy with, you can't call somebody certain names if they're not mentally there. And I'm not even going to say the word, you know what I'm saying? But we used to use it all the time. We used to have a retarded guy on our show. I mean,
That's right.
Sorry, I apologize for that. I know it's not a good word.
Hammerin' Hank.
Hammerin' Hank,
right?
who's still around, by the way. How he's still alive, I don't know. He's like 400 pounds and, hey, Elvis, how you doing? How you doing? But yeah, everything's changed. That's okay. With me, it's like you have to reinvent yourself no matter what it is. Look what's happened. Newspapers have gone away. Magazines are basically gone. Radio, the next thing to go, from what I understand, is going to be local television. Because local television is funded by, they make their big money with the NFL. The NFL is going to all the streaming services.
Yeah.
They're pulling out of CBS, Fox, and NBC. They're going to be gone in 5 years. So local TV is going to be gone too. I mean, it's just, you got to learn to reinvent yourself, and that's what I've done. I have a production company in Vegas and for the hospitality industry, but going to be launching a sports show here soon. But, you know, it's just, you got to roll with the times, man. You just got to roll with it, dude. That's what you got to do. You can't fight it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't.
Do you think the culture nowadays is extremely soft?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's like, grow a pair of nuts. I mean, think about it. The things I would say back in the day, I couldn't get away with. Now people go, oh, that's not right. Oh, you can't do that. But I don't know about soft. I think millennials are soft. No offense, guys. Your video guys. It's because they grew up with an iPhone or a phone in their face. They don't know what it was like to have a TV with 3 channels and actually be to go out at the end of the day and actually be outside. And everybody's locked into a computer now. And it's like, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have that. I wasn't exposed to all. And I feel almost unfortunate for kids nowadays. They grow up with this content in their face with social media, and there's such negative stuff, and it's all sexual. It's all, you know, innuendo. It's different. It's a different time. 100%. I agree.
Yeah. So talk to me about I mean, you obviously had success. When did you first notice this talent, right? Because you're, like I said, you're iconic around here, right? Like, when did you start noticing that you had some kind of skill sets and some kind of talent, some kind of, you know, hunger for this thing?
Well, since I was a little kid, I was always one to, my parents and we'd do parties with my grandparents and stuff. Oh, do this. And I would sing, I would dance. And then my mother got us into theater as kids. And my siblings and me, we all got into theater, and I always get the lead role because I was like loud. I got a big voice, by the way. And then I went to high school and I kept doing theater. And it was always like, wow, this is great. I get to entertain and make people laugh or, you know, make them feel an emotion. And then I got to college, 1 year of college, didn't graduate. But kids, stay in school. I found radio. And I was like, wait, this is really cool. I can actually do a show on a daily basis and get paid as opposed to an actor who doesn't get paid. And then I started doing it. I was in Corvallis, Oregon, at Oregon State. And then I said, you know what? What am I going to do this summer? I don't know. I went to Reno, Nevada with some buddies, and we worked at a Harris Casino making change for the slot machines. And I saw in the newspaper one day, looking for DJs at a radio station, went and applied and got it. And wow. I did it for almost 30 years, you know, and it was like, I built myself up. I went to Reno, then I went to Portland, Oregon, then I went to Phoenix, then I went to Sacramento, San Jose, San Francisco, and I ended up in New York City, the #1 market. I took it all the way, but it was hard work, man. It was a grind. It was like you'd get up, think about it, work at it all day, and then get off the air and think about it for the next day. Yeah. It's like what you do. You have to constantly be thinking about what's next, you know? So I worked really hard at it. And then in 1994, I was a production director in afternoons on a station in San Jose called Hot 97.7. I was afternoons, had the #1 afternoon show. And this guy kept showing up like on the weekends named JV, who I guess had worked at the station years before. And he was in Bakersfield, and he kept showing up and, hey, let's go out. And you're a loudmouth idiot. Why would I want to go out with you? And it turns out the radio station was having him come in to meet me to take over the mornings in San Jose because the morning show was terrible there and had no ratings. Yeah. And we went out one night and got totally plastered. And at 2 a.m. in San Jose, went on the air, showed up at the radio station as Bill and Ted. And it was magic, I guess. I wish somebody had that tape somewhere, but it was just shit talking, funny, and we were just all crying. It was so funny. And then the following week, the general manager pulls me in going, hey, we want you to do mornings with this guy. I go, sure. And I'd never done morning radio before, but like you mentioned before, we were number one in the Bay Area for about 15 years, and it was a different time, but it was that was the start of the Doghouse. Was in San Jose. Within 3 months, we were number one in San Jose. A station called Wild 107 came after us like 3 months in and going, hey, how long's your contract? We go, it's a year. They go, okay, in 3 months, we want you to quit, and you can, at the end of your contract, start here. So we'd go to the city every day from San Jose and work on, we'd record prank calls, we'd record so much stuff. So we were like ready to go when we first went on the air, and we went guerrilla warfare, man. We went after every radio station, Cameo. We beat them within 3 months, and we were number one. Yeah, so it was just constant. I was married at the time too, and I'd get home, my wife would go, you realize that was wrong? I go, yeah, but it was funny. It was wrong, but God, it was funny. You got some laughs, and that's all that mattered. So
did we entertain? That's all.
Yeah, that's all that mattered. And I knew that if my partner JV was across from me laughing, that it was funny, because he passed away 2 years ago, and I knew when he was laughing that shit was funny, because he was funnier than hell. And he. After he passed away, I got an email from him. He'd scheduled 5 days afterwards. And it just broke down. I think about it, I get, very emotional. But he said, you are hands down the funniest person I've ever met in my life, kind of thing. I was like, oh, my God, and what I meant to him and what we did. And it was like brutal. But I feel very fortunate to have a partner like that, who we were just like this. It was yin and yang, man. It was back and forth. And we just did it, I just knew where he was going. He knew where I was going, and then we'd like to surprise each other with something totally off the fucking wall, So that's just how it was. It was a different time, like you said. There was no limits to what the fuck we did, none.
Yeah, well, when you have chemistry like that, you typically have impact like that. When you got people telling you that you changed your life and you got them through some rough times.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of weight right there.
Yeah, it really is. And looking back at it, you don't think about it like when you're in your studio and you're with your buddies and you're laughing and stuff like that, and you get out there going, I hope that was good. And then people said, you changed my life. It's like, whoa. Don't blame that shit on me. Hey, man, just because I don't want to take, full responsibility for your terrible life. No, I'm kidding. But I've had people, since JV passed away, I've had people come up and say, you guys really, really meant something to me. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that show was such a staple.
Yeah, it was.
So talk about how it's taken off, right? Like you and JV got chemistry, you guys are on air, you guys are doing your thing, and then talk about how the addition of Hollywood and everybody else came along.
Yeah.
Because you guys, I mean, everybody had their own lane.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of just
had their own role.
They just overlapped so well, man. You guys just were just a well-oiled machine. So talk about how all that came together.
That was JV. He had the creative brain for it all. He knew what everybody should be doing and what their strengths were. Hollywood was actually with him when we first connected at his producer. He wasn't a producer. All he had was a laugh. But in San Jose, we had a guy named Big Joe who was our van driver. He was my van driver in the afternoons, and JV goes, hey, we need somebody. I go, hey, let's try this guy. And he was the perfect foil. He was a total screw-up, getting girls pregnant, on drugs, drunk all the time, but it was great. It was great content. He'd come in like every 6 months going, I need help, I need to go to rehab. And that was a whole week of shows right there. You freaking moron, just stuff like. So Joe came on, and then we had, phone girl Rachel, and then she got fired for a joke that didn't go, that was very racially insensitive. We didn't do anything racially insensitive or sexual or anything like that. We would talk about women's body parts in vivid detail. And, I remember saying, you know what our show is? It's the 5 Ps. It's penis, pussy, puke, piss, and poop. That was our show.
That's about it.
Yeah. It was very lowbrow, but people loved it because we talked. Sorry. It's like, yeah, that was bad. But it's what we were, because poop makes me laugh. We all do it. It's like, come on. But it was just a different time. And we did it with comedy, though, to where we could say things that people probably might have thought, but we said it, and it was like, and then we'd add certain people here and there. And some people would stay, some would get all butthurt like we meant it. We'd have to say a lot of times, we're kidding. We're kidding.
I remember that being a staple.
Yeah,
staple of your show.
we're kidding.
We're in the business of jokes.
Yeah,
That's it.
we had some guys that worked at the radio station, Wild 94.9, like a couple of mixers, DJs, and one of them we wouldn't let out of the studio, and he lost his shit. He was like screaming. Of course, it was all on the air, you know. It was like mics were hot, man. That was gold for us when somebody's just losing their mind over something we said. You know, it's like if you hit them like in a soft spot, we didn't stop. It was like relentless.
Oh no, it was uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it was uncomfortable. I'm feeling for him as I'm listening. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting uncomfortable.
And there's some people
choking him right now.
Some people this day that still hold on to it. They say, you guys were like, mean to me. Really? Was I mean to you? I don't even know who the hell you are, and I was mean to you. I'm sorry. It's a show.
Yeah, I just remember there was so much going on.
Yeah.
Like it was just easy to lose that type of stuff in that type of emotion in the shuffle.
But we did
for the sake of the show.
We did do a lot of interviews. We did do the last interview of Notorious B.I.G. before he got murdered in '97. We did the last radio interview.
And you guys had every major Bay Area.
Not only Bay Area, but we did, from George Clooney to, we brought in, I remember this one time we had Ice Cube and Mike Epps in. I think they had the second Friday movie out.
Okay.
And they're in there. We are just laughing. We're going, JV says something like, hey, Cube, we got a fan of yours who is dying to meet you, and she's hot. And Cube's like, he sits up, well, yeah. And in walks this most beautiful girl named Vanity, and she goes right to him, sits on his lap. We are laughing, having a time, and JV goes, hey, Cube, got something to tell you. That's a dude. Oh. And it was a transsexual. And his face went from Mr. Happy to NWA in a second. Boom. Pushed her off. And it was like, she was beautiful, though. I mean, it was, but it was a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, right. And Mike Epps hit the floor. He was laughing so hard.
That's the perfect guy to do that.
Oh, yeah. It was like, and Mike Epps laughed so hard, he hit the floor and he was screaming, crying. It was stuff like that. And I remember there was one time the actor Ray Liotta, who has passed away, he came in and that was like, Goodfellas and all this stuff. I was a big fan, and I just, and JV sets me up like, this guy Elvis has got he can really go after you with some rips. He goes, oh, bring it. And I started going on about his mother. And he says, hey, but guess what? And he hits me with that Goodfellas look. My mom is dead. And I went, oh, and he goes, just kidding. But it was like that kind of stuff. It was like, I was like, oh my God. He really just said that. And I said, I know. Actually, I think my response was, I know she's dead. I killed her. Or something like that. That kind of, or whatever I did. The
sound of it just roll off the tongue.
Yeah, it was just like, but that face of his was just like, Goodfellas, like Henry Hill face, it's like, gonna kill me kind of thing. We interviewed Janet Jackson, Madonna, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, just George Clooney, I said, big names. And we'd have all the comedians come in because they knew we were comedians, you know? We had big ones. We used to do something called the Doghouse Comedy Jam, 2003 and 4, and we would sell out Shoreline in 2 days, 18,000 people both times, but it was Dave Chappelle, Jamie Foxx, Carlos Mencia, Ralphie May, big names, Frank Caliendo, big comedy names. And
I forgot how big that was.
Oh, it was massive. It was huge. But what we did, as opposed to just doing a comedy show, we would do things in between each act. We'd have videos produced. I would come up, and they had a king's crown for me, and a big robe, and I had a scepter, and they would have a throne on stage for me, and I was the king of capping. I'm sorry, totally dorky white guy. The king of capping. And I would come out, and there would be a line of people out there, and they would try to insult me, but I would go right back at them and just make the whole place would just die in the shit I was saying. And I don't even know where it was coming from because it was off the top of my head. Yeah. I didn't need. I'll just look at you and destroy you. Yeah. That was my thing.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, and it was like it wasn't scripted, but it was all, and there's radio shows still to this day that do prank calls. Well, they're all fake. They're not. Ours were real. I would get, this is how long ago, I started to do them in '94, where people would fax in a prank call. Oh, wow. Fax, yeah. And I walk in the morning and there were like 80 faxes. Oh my God. And I'd systematically rip through them, go through them, see if there's a good scenario. And I would have to record these on tape. So I'd have this big 2-track tape recorder, and it would be, I'd look down and go, there's 58 minutes on there, and I got to get 3 minutes out of that thing. So I'm just chopping it out. It took hours. Yeah. Everything's digital now. You guys got it so easy now. Fuck you. Kidding. See, I got to do that again. But life is a little easier as far as producing content and things like that with micro SD cards and digital this and that. And I use Adobe Audition myself, and it's like, not back then, man. We were all on tape, and you were cutting it with a razor blade and putting tape on it. It was a different time.
Yeah, you had to get cuts on your hands.
Yeah,
so
totally. Well, it happened to be the 80s and 90s, so all my razor blades were disappearing too. Maybe it's because all the DJs were doing coke.
So talk about your favorite moments on the show. Dude, it got to be like something that just stood out. Like you guys did weird shit. Like you guys measured your dicks. I remember that.
Yes.
Came out. That was a crazy. That was a
yes,
week
and you know what
thing.
about that? JV was so sensitive about it. He had to lie. I'll just be honest with you. I was the winner. I was the winner of that one, but he had to say he was the biggest. Whatever, dude. I let it go. He was single. I was married. It didn't matter.
Oh, there you go.
But by the way, ladies, I was the biggest. And his excuse was, I couldn't get, erect. And yeah, whatever, dude. It just face facts. I have a bigger one than you do. No, it was that kind of stuff we would do. We did something called the Jerker King, where we had the guys of the Bay Area come in, and who had the longest, and this skinny little Latino guy, this was like, oh my God, is that a python in your pants? It was like you. It was like you had to do a double take. We did something called Battle of the Big Boys, where we had the biggest guys, and we built that up from the Police Athletic League in San Jose all the way up to the San Jose Convention Center, where we had 5,000 people watching these big guys just beat the crap out of each other. Yeah. I mean, the biggest dudes. But the whole week leading up to it, we'd have them face off in studio, so it was just great drama. It's just like, you're not going to do this. And, a couple of them just took one punch and were down. Yeah. These big monster dudes.
Yeah, you'd have that often.
Yeah. We did that every year. Boxing. Yeah, we did that every year. And it was just that kind of thing. We would show up to a DVD signing. I know, DVD, Google it. We'd show up to a DVD signing and we have 3,000 people.
Yeah.
And every time, those son of a bitches would put me right in first position, so I'd have to shake every clammy friggin' hand. But I enjoyed it because I got to set the mood. And usually they were all hungover anyway. I just remember meeting hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands. Yeah. And people come up, you don't remember me? No, I don't remember what I had for dinner last night. Don't take it personal,
So who came up with the bits, man? Like the boxing and the hypnotism.
Yeah, I got hypnotized a couple times. Well, that was JV and me. We would do all that stuff together. We would meet after. We'd do lunch after we got off the air at 10 a.m., and then we'd brainstorm, and then I'd go in and record prank calls. And then we'd do bits together. We did characters. We did a couple gay characters named Garrett and Raul. We did a couple of guys named the announcer guys. That was funny as hell. It was Teriyaki and Artichoke. Hey, everybody, how you doing? And we go back and forth, and we would call different places as these announcers. Oh, you got to be kidding me. And just... But I did something called the Drunk Guy. He did Grandpa V. I did... It was these characters that added some different elements to the show as well, in addition to the prank call. We would do a prank call and a character every show. And that just, was a lot of work.
It kind of what it felt like, man. It felt like there was just so much coming out of that show.
Yeah, it was nonstop. People think, oh, you just get to do your 4 and hit the door. Really? I used to get there at 4 a.m. and leave at 2 every day.
Yeah.
And when I'm not on there or there, I'm at home thinking about it, and thinking about, I got to get up at 3:15. So, but they paid us really well. They did. It got to a point where like our agent would go in there, here's what they want, just sign it. And they're like, okay. Because we were billing like $1.5 million a month in ad revenue at one point. Now radio doesn't do that in a year.
Yeah.
That's
wild, man. You guys used to have like billboards all over the place.
All over
Your
the place.
faces used to be all smashed all over buildings.
We did something when we were in, when we first got up to the city in San Francisco. And we had a guy at the San Jose Mercury News that would write a radio column that doesn't exist anymore. His name was Brad Kava. And he would rip on us, oh, they're degenerate sophomoric humor and this and that. And they talk about, bathroom stuff. Yeah, okay. So we put an ad, our general manager put an ad in the San Jose Mercury News of picture of me, picture of JV, and down underneath it said, hey, the Doghouse wants to thank everybody from the Bay Area to making them #1. But the thing is, when you got this newspaper, we said, everybody grab your Merc News, and we want you to take the ad that we put in there, and we want you to fold it from one end to the other. And when they did that, it came up with this, and it said, "Fuck Brad Kava" underneath it in his own newspaper.
That's about right. That sounds Doghouse right there.
"Fuck Brad Kava," and because it was said, "The Doghouse wants to thank you for making the, blah, blah." It was all bullshit, because then if you fold it together, it was just this, and it would say, just said, "Fuck," in his own newspaper.
Your real feelings.
In his own newspaper. So it was that kind of stuff that was like, that made it to Channel 4 News, and there were newscasters came on, and no, we were the bad guys, I guess. It's whatever.
How'd you guys handle that press? Because you guys got a lot of negativity. You got a lot of positivity, but you got a lot of negativity.
We did a lot of for charity too. We did a lot of that stuff that never got, that was overlooked because of who we were, bad guys, but we weren't bad people. We were good people. We just had a different sense of comedy. We didn't. If somebody wrote something bad about us, we'd rip into them. I remember before KMEL. We would go against every show. They had Broadway Bill Lee and then Rennell and all these shows and Sway and this and that. And once they brought on a new show, that was fair game for us. We would just rip them, and they didn't beat us. Then one day, we were still, I think, Wild 107, mandatory staff meeting, 1 o'clock, you have to be here. We're all sitting there, and in walks the owner of KMEL and the other stations. He's got a white flag, and he goes, "I surrender. You beat my baby KMEL. I just bought you."
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so they bought us, so we're all in one happy family. They hated us. So then we were on Green Street in the city. If you don't know, it's in the Embarcadero. And KMEL moved to another spot for a minute because we were putting together a big, it's still the iHeart facility in San Francisco on Townsend Street. But we had to move into their old building, and we got there, and they had pissed and shit all over the carpets and stuff.
Yeah.
Don't think we didn't go on about that.
Warm welcome, huh?
Yeah, they were just jealous. That's okay. We made them pay.
Yeah.
And one thing about them is we moved into Townsend, all of us did, and we were Wild 107, and they hated it because the zip code was 94107. They were 106 KMEL. So those things don't happen anymore. You don't get radio wars like we had. It was a war. It was a guerrilla-style war. And yeah, we would turn cars over. We had, if you go to YouTube, you can Google Radio Kings 1 and 2, and you'll see this crazy, it's stunt after stunt. It's us in the clubs with naked people and guys setting themselves on fire and just nuts.
Like that was every weekend, like
every
Sound
weekend.
Factory. You guys were dominating the Sound Factory.
Yeah, it was huge. And then there was one thing that's pretty funny. It's me on the streets just talking to people. And I don't know where I'm coming up with this stuff, but it is just, go to YouTube and put Elvis on the streets of San Francisco, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I was so fat then, though. I was like, it was a bloated week that week. No, but it was just a different time. I mean, I would walk up to old people and go, "You guys, how about we go back to the motel and three of us do a three?" Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was just out there, kind of fun. It was, if you took it serious, you weren't for us. We would just say, "Hey, you don't have to listen. Turn it." But we had 2.5 million people every morning listening to us. Yeah. So, different time.
Dude, people couldn't get enough of it, dude.
Yeah. It was fun. But things move on, and you got to embrace it. Like, I'm working on a show now called Doghouse Sports, which is going to be a live stream and a video and audio podcast as well. And I'd have to do something to keep JV's spirit alive. It's my responsibility. He meant too much to me. He meant too much to the Bay, and so we're going to be launching that here in the near future, probably in a couple months, and see where it goes. But I got to get back to making people laugh. Unfortunately, my partner's not here, but that's okay. I can do it. Yeah. I got to do it to make him happy,
So talk a little bit more about that. That's the next venture. That's what you got on the horizon. What made you want to spawn that idea? What made you want to pursue that?
Well, I've always been a huge sports fan my whole life. In fact, people for years, why you should get into sports broadcasting? Well, I'm doing okay doing this comedy thing. I think that now there's so much streaming sports out there, and these guys try to do comedy. I've already got the comedy thing kind of down, but I get to bring in, like my partner is Derek Deese, former 49er Super Bowl champ, known him for 30 years. I bring in Lisa, like the woman you met earlier today. She's really, really top-notch with sports, and bring in that kind of people, but have fun.
She left us for a Warriors game.
Yeah, well, I don't blame her.
Says enough right there.
So I need to do sports, but I need to do the comedy with it, and I will have that same doghouse sensibility in everything I do, but make it about sports as well. And sports gaming is throwing money at sports media right now. And what the format I've put together is pretty unique. I've got some great connections with not only the 49ers, but with the LA Rams, the Arizona Cardinals, and things like that to do specialized content for each team. So it's kind of my thing. I've always been a huge sports fan. I grew up in Southern California. Started off as a Rams fan, then a Charger fan, Dodger and Lakers my whole life. So it's just been in my heart and my blood. My dad started me listening to sports, Vin Scully and Chick Hearn on the radio back. If you're an LA person, you know who I'm talking about. But I got to listen to that as a kid. I'd fall asleep with them in my ear kind of thing. So It's my time to do that. It's my time to not only make people laugh again, but to do sports. And, we'll see where it goes. But I'm excited about it. Yeah. Really excited.
No, I definitely can see you doing that, man, with all the Swiss Army knife of personalities that you can pull out. Yeah.
By the way, we came back, the Doghouse, we came back in 2016, and iHeart put us on an AM station. Whatever. But there's a website called doghouseempire.com. Doghouseempire.com. It's still up, and there's prank calls on there. JV actually produced a movie that's on there as well called Behind the House.
Oh, wow.
Check it out. You'll see what kind of skills he had. You're a movie maker. You're a creative guy. Check that out. It's like, whoa, it's about, it builds up to, I've been in a shack for like 8 years, and I couldn't get out because Hammer and Hank was holding me hostage in there or something. It's crazy, but it's funny as hell. It's just, but you'll see like his creative vision for it too. It's like, whoa. And he started doing, video on videotape and editing all those Radio Kings 1 and 2. We had something called Maybe You Should. We used to put out CDs of prank calls as well too that were huge. I mean, they were massive. I didn't never see any of that money, but that's okay.
I was going to say, you guys had a lot.
That wasn't me. I didn't get any of that money because he produced it all. I get it. It was my fucking voice though. But anyway, no, I'm kidding. Totally kidding. Not really. Anyway, but times change and you just get to move forward with what you're passionate about. I'm not going to do anything I'm not passionate about, because if you go to a job every day and you're not passionate about it, it's just a job. It's not what's in your heart.
Yeah.
And the Doghouse is what I was meant to do. It was in my heart, and I was really good at it. And I was fortunate enough to have a partner who saw what I did well and let me create that way. However, Brad Kaba thinks that we were sophomoric, assholes. That's fine. I don't care. Good luck going against us. You know what I'm saying? Nobody did after a while. And to this day, I get like, you heard of Sway, right? He's a big time hip hop guy. He's in New York City. He goes, to this day, nobody touches the Doghouse. Even Big Boy says that too. Big Boy Neighborhood, who does radio still. Nobody touched the Doghouse. And these are big time radio guys.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
They all know. The country knows that we were the best that ever did it.
No, anybody that ever seen you guys, they already got they know what it is. It's interesting to me though that you guys were spread across as much media as you guys were, right? To have the wherewithal to be like, you know what, let's put this on video as well.
Yeah.
Because you guys are doing so many cool things.
Yeah.
To have that recorded and documented,
yeah,
man, that was another layer.
Like you'll see the first one, it says Radio Kings, a documentary, and it goes through it. He really wrote he storyboarded out a great concept for it. And like I said, it's on YouTube, Radio Kings 1 and 2. Check it out when you get a chance. You go, oh my God, those guys are crazy.
Yeah, we'll have to drop the links.
There's so much stuff in studio that we would do. We did something where we would take a blender and we would make Hammer and Hank come in and we'd make him drink this stuff called poontang. And it was like we'd have a dead fish in there. We'd have like moldy cheese and vinegar. And I'm not even going to say some of the other stuff that we put in there. It was like,
we know what you put in
really rough. Yeah. And we would blend that up and he would try and drink it. And it was like, bruh. But we had guys that were religious listeners to us. We had one guy, I forget his name, but his nickname was I Would Go There. And there was a couple times he came in studio and he was just like, I think he was high on meth or something. I don't know, but he was like, "Hey, Doghouse, what do you need me to do?" And we had him one time. We had him eat a urinal cake. You know those things at the urinal?
Yeah.
And he ate that, and he got violently ill. Then one time we had him do a whole tube of toothpaste, which is totally toxic. He had to go to the hospital for that. But the worst was, he came in, we had a board and a staple gun, and he stapled his nuts to the board.
Oh, dude.
And he's shaking as he's trying to get the staple out of his nuts. And I think he ate a live rat once, too. It was just bad stuff.
Yeah, see, like, you can't even remember the stuff
you can't
were doing,
even.
dude. There's
Yeah.
just so much stuff going on.
Yeah, it was
crazy.
just, I don't even have it in my brain, but now I think back, it's like every day in the studio, there's some competition of if you didn't do it, you were a joke, and it was worse to not do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we did something.
Yeah, because you can sense that from an audience perspective.
Well, you remember when
pressure.
Remember when Survivor first came out?
Yeah.
We did a Survivor in the studio, the entire radio staff in the studio. And, JB, he checked out like a few hours in. He couldn't do it. And it came down to 3 days later, it was me and St. John in the studio, just still, not sleeping, not this. And then the manager came in, hey, we got to end this. They go, we're going to leave it up to the listeners. And of course, they picked me to win. Doghouse fans, And it was like, want a trip to friggin' Maui? I said, I'm going. Yeah. JB got pissed that I even left.
I earned it.
Yeah, I did. It was 3 days of like not sleeping and not eating and not, it was Survivor. It was like, but stuff like that.
No, it's brutal because when you guys did contests, the Hammer and Hank thing you were just talking about, I remember seeing that you guys had visuals and him trying to choke it down.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God.
Well, there was things like we would have a tent on top of the radio station, and we'd have Joe go in there and we'd throw tear gas in there, and he would come out. And another thing is that I lost some rigged competition one time, and the loser had to walk on hot coals. And I'm like, wait a second. I get up on top, and they have got pans of briquettes of charcoal. You don't do that. You use actual wood. You actually use embers and wood. And I get up there, and there's these 10,000 degree pans of barbecue charcoal that are like, got a flame off them. I'm going, I'm not doing this. So I get up there, and it's like, the buildup was stupid. And I just take one step in, my foot catches on fire. I take a second step, and I'm out. And I don't know how I didn't swear. I mean, I'm just going, oh, goddamn! And my feet are in water. It was terrible, but that's all on Radio Kings, too. I mean, Radio Kings 1 and 2. It's just all of this stuff. Yeah, you got to put links to this stuff so people you can talk about it, but until you see it. I've been approached a few times since JV passed away about a Doghouse documentary, and I've got a filmmaker who's he's already storyboarded it out and stuff like that. I'm like, whoa, okay, well, if you're going to fund it, go for it.
You going to do it?
It's got my blessing. Yeah, we're going to do it. 100%.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's got all the gear. He's got production people, and why not? And it's going to benefit Bay Area Lyme, too. JV had Lyme disease, and unfortunately, the COVID vaccine brought on multiple infections on his brain, Babesia, EBV, and Bartonella, and he was in such pain every day. He just couldn't go on. People were saying, oh, he had mental issues. No, he didn't. He was one of the smartest, grounded people I'll ever meet. His brain was on, there were this is gross, there were actual parasites eating his brain away.
Yeah.
This guy, the most brilliant, creative guy I'll ever know, and he couldn't go on. And when he disappeared, we all knew what happened. We all knew. Yeah. We knew he couldn't go on. Yeah. So he ended it. So very sad, very tragic.
Yeah. So what do you want going forward? What do you want JV's legacy to be, right? Like, how are you going to contribute to this thing? Like,
I think the best thing I can do is to keep doing comedy. I've got a connection with Live Nation. We're going to do Doghouse comedy nights throughout the Bay Area and at the Improv, where I'll get up and do some stuff, and everything's going to benefit Bay Area Lyme Foundation. I think that anything that I do content-wise has to be good, has to be high-end. So it's like finding the right people. You know what I'm saying? I think I know I can go into any situation and make it good, or at least make it to where it's like, that guy's an idiot in a good way.
Yeah.
That guy, he's funny as hell. Not that I know that I'm funny, but I can roll with anybody. I can have anybody sit in that chair and have a conversation and make them laugh.
I agree.
That's just kind of my thing.
That's your gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, or it's a curse. Either one.
Yeah. Depending on how you look at it.
He goes, oh, you got to perform. What are you, a trained SEAL?
And here we are.
Here we are. Yes.
Well, that's great, man. Anything else? Any projects that you got going on that you want to talk about? Anything in the future that you see?
Just
Anything
this
that you wanna
Doghouse
promote?
Sports is what my passion is going to be about. It's not only going to be live streamed at remote at different venues all over the Bay Area. We're going to be in Vegas to do it, but then I was talking off camera here. Off camera, see, I got that. It's not off mic. See, radio guy. I'm really involved with this NFL Global Markets Program, where the NFL is trying to be this massive brand all over the world. And my goal is to travel to Madrid, Mexico City, Sao Paulo, Brazil this year, and do a live stream for the NFL.
Yeah.
That's just my thing, but do it with fun. Not some boring, let's take a look at the cornerback from Duke University. No. We're going to talk about fun stuff first, then we'll get into the nuts and bolts and grind of it all, Yeah. And that's where I'll bring real football people in, Because I do know sports, but I'm not an X's and O's guy by any means. So it's that's really what my passion's at right now. And I work for a company called Smart Tab, which is a point of sale for bars, nightclubs, and gentlemen's clubs. And it's just an amazing company and great people. And I produce other content for them as well. So it's just keep doing it. You got one life to live, and do it with whatever you do it with passion.
Yeah.
Well,
I appreciate it, man. Thank you
Thanks,
for coming
buddy.
on, man.
Appreciate it.
It's a blast having
Dig
you
it.
on, man. Appreciate you.
Oh, you hurt my fucking hand.
Oh, man.